Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours for Beginners. Sorry, I'm tripping over my own tongue. I've stretched the paper and what I'm doing now is just taking the water off with a damp brush. Take it round the edges. Okay. This is cadmium yellow light. Straight in along the bottom there. Bring it all the way through your horse, don't worry about it. Some Indian yellow here. Bring that into the ground as well. Just unifies everything. I've got the board laid flat. And this is some rose, permanent rose, maybe a little bit stronger at the top. And because of the film of water, it will fade roughly between 20 and 30%, especially the rose, so you can afford to put a little more on. Some more Indian yellow here. And I think we may just have a little more cadmium yellow there. Come down the page and bring the colours together. All the way down. And then right at the bottom, this is cadmium orange with some burnt sienna and a touch of burnt umber. I'm just going to add this along the bottom here, bringing it into the ground, working it into the other colours, and then we're going to leave this first wash to dry, and then we're going to put some wet clouds on dry paper. We'll be softening off the edges and we'll be strengthening the clouds up in certain areas with a stronger colour to give the sky some more depth. Okay, the paper's dry, and what I've done, because we're working on dry paper and I don't want it to curl, is I've clipped it down along the edges, and then we're going to dry brush in these clouds. Now this is a mixture of cadmium orange, burnt sienna with a touch of burnt umber, and we're just going to create some interesting shapes. Just test it first. Make sure the paint underneath doesn't lift, and we want some scraggly edges. Then I have a stronger mix of that with cadmium orange, burnt umber with a touch of French ultramarine, and we're just going to add some dark parts of the cloud to that. You'll have to add this as you go, making it quite dark in certain places just to add a little bit more depth, and you can move on to your next cloud. Just create some interesting shapes with the darker mixture. Soften the clouds off in some areas with a damp brush. Pulling it out in certain areas just to soften it. Softening it off all the time. As you can see, this can take you a little while. If you see yourself disturbing the paint underneath, leave that area alone. Not too much on the brush. And you can see how the paper, the tooth of the paper, is pulling the paint off the brush. add in the dark mixture, cadmium orange, burnt umber with some French ultramarine. Just soften it off. Same thing in here, but with a weaker mix of the cadmium orange and burnt umber with a touch of burnt sienna. I'll put some clouds in here, gently softening off. Just a touch of the dark, but not much. With some clean water. Just going to re-wet the bottom where the land is, just underneath the horse. Don't worry about disturbing the paint underneath with this. We will be lifting some paint out. Okay. This is French ultramarine and burnt umber. I'm just going to add a little water that to that. I just want it a little thinner. Means it's a very hot day. It's going to dry out reasonably fast. So just paint your horse in with this first. Little fella's ears down to the mane, across the back. Just pull some mane out at the back. You can see I'm not going into the tail yet. Into the hooves, just leave it there for the moment. Just pick up that paint, bring it across the horse's belly, just leaving it short of where it meets the land, where I've re-wet the paper. We'll be pulling it into the ground in a minute. This is a rigger brush, same colour, and I'm just going to pull the horse's tail into a shape that you like. This is another one you don't really want to get carried away with, otherwise you end up with a tail that's 9 foot long. Same colour once again, and straight into the ground. Bring it across the horse's legs and underneath the horse. And now you can pull your horse into the ground. This, make sure that you do not get any runbacks into your picture from the horse. I don't like that. And I suppose we could do with a tree, maybe here. Yeah, I think so. I've got the, as you can see, I've got the brush on the side, and I'm just creating some of the main parts of the tree with the brush. Same colour. Just pull this into the land. This is a mixture of Prussian blue and burnt umber. Into this is a strong mix, and we're just going to add this to the middle of the horse and the tail, and we'll pull that out with a rigger brush again. Just making it dark under the horse. You can see the change colour, even though we're just putting darks in, and I want to leave some of the underwash showing through, or we will lift some out, one of the two. Maybe this is casting a shadow, maybe the horses as well. And once again I'm just going to pull some of the hairs out on the tail. What I want to do now is just lift a little paint out along the back, leaving some of the sky wash to show through. Maybe just a little off the tail. And then, once again, I think we should leave that to dry. And then we'll put the branches in for the trees once the clouds have dried out a little more. Okay, the painting's dried out a lot more and the clouds have dried off, so we'll just move back to the dark mixture again, Prussian blue. I'm using a rigger brush. I just want to pull some branches out. I think I might even make this a dead tree. Just so the branches have interest. Thicken out a touch here. This one comes over this one. Just keep going with your tree so you get it the way you like it. I'm just going to turn the board around while I do the bottom bit. I just turn it around because it makes it easier sometimes to put the branches in, so the paint is still wet in some areas but it's dry enough to get this in, so I want to get this in. Maybe it's an old oak tree this, and has them little branches that stick out on the sides. Next to here, I think we'll put a post in. Maybe there's some barbed wire. A few more branches. Just to fill your tree out. Maybe a couple of birds here. Okay. And then we're just going to leave this to dry, or will we? Might just take a little bit off the edge here with the damp brush, just to allow some of the underwash to show through. Some grasses out. Have them going in all different directions. I'm not going to go all the way across the picture with this, as I think it would detract from the main feature, which is the horse. Let that go at that. I'm going to leave this now to completely dry. Okay, the painting's dry, it's basically completed. Now comes the best bit where you sign it. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please click the like button. And if you want to see further videos up and coming, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. I'll leave a link in the description box for the other videos that I've made, and if you want to have a go at painting something a little bit more traditional, I think there's over 60 videos of watercolour painted traditional way. Thank you very much for watching.